why be a biologist? Because in the realm of life is, one of the more interesting dimensions of the universe, right? Here we are in a world that has all sorts of living creatures, and we're one of them. So biology is concerned with, in many ways, how life works at all sorts of levels. It's not observing and saying, well, I think it works this way. It's devising experiments that penetrate into how something works, and experiments being devised by lots and lots of people and being cross-checked by other people that give us a cumulative increasing understanding of how life works. And it's pretty obvious that that can conflict with other narratives, other origin stories for humans that have been around much longer than evolutionary science. I've shared a podium with, say, a Catholic theologian that will stand up and say, well, the evidence for evolution is overwhelming. Now let's talk about the theological implications. So I think the discussion that's really interesting between religious thinkers and scientists is getting over this question of, well, did evolution really happen? The more interesting question is, how should we think about the role of humanity and the role of individual lives and our meaning and purpose here in light of evolution, in light of our evolutionary history? And what role does theology and religious thought have to contribute to that? I think that's the open territory. The conflict, which has a 150-year history between evolutionary thinking and certain strains, certain branches of religious thought. Stuck there is just not an interesting place. But beyond there is a real interesting place, and that's where not only is there a dialogue for scientists and religious leaders to have conversation, but I think it invites everybody else into the conversation. I think it invites their congregations and, believers and non-believers alike, to the table.